Guys, I'm happy to be here today with this amazing person. His name is Erik, and Erik running his marketing agency for food and beverage industry, mostly for bars and restaurants. And Erik, thank you so much for your time. I'm happy to be here with
Much
you.
appreciate
How are you
it.
doing?
Good, thank you.
So, why we discussed to do this podcast? Because we met not so long ago, but I figured out that his point of view and position about the market shift, about what's happening right now, it's very, very interesting to discuss publicly and share it with my audience. But first of all, I think the most important to understand at the very beginning, Erik, from where you started this journey in your digital marketing. Could you tell me?
Yeah, so I only do marketing for bars, restaurants, nightclubs, coffee shops, the service industry. And the reason why I got into that was when I was a kid, 13 years old, my mom ran the food and beverage department in a ski resort that I lived at in Park City, Utah. So I was forced into child labor by my mom, and she put me to work, and I learned how to work in a restaurant, from dishwashing, from bussing tables, all the way up. Then I worked in a lot of other places I was management, bartender. I worked my way up, and then finally I moved to Scottsdale, Arizona, and I was the marketing director for a chain of country bars / country music venues. I don't even want to say the name because they have such a bad reputation. It's the name of a country artist everybody's heard of. That place kind of started going down. I saw some really sketchy things happen and got out of there, worked for another chain of nightclubs and bars. Another one was country themed. It was owned by Dierks Bentley, the country artist. Worked for them for a while. And then out of two out of the three ownership groups that own all the nightlife, all the nightclubs in Scottsdale, Arizona, very, very competitive market. I was working with a bunch of kids. They were 21, 22 years old. And their approach to marketing is far different than mine. So I kind of saw that what we were doing wasn't working. And I could only say so much because my boss really he just didn't care. Great guy, I still love him. He just didn't care whether we can measure results or not, which I know measuring results is a giant thing. We couldn't figure that out, so I said, okay, I left on great terms, started my own company in about 2017. And I've been doing search engine optimization and reputation management and restaurant website design ever since then.
All right, but the question is why you paid your attention, especially for the marketing game. Why do you think it's like for you?
That's the one thing I knew how to do well. And I think the reason why I do it better than the next guy is because what I just said, I measure the results. I was used to kids that would they would create a party for a bar. They make a flyer, they put it on Facebook, they're done. They don't understand that, so you're not done. You have to figure out how successful it was. You had to figure out what the traffic was because of it. You have to figure out if there's an ROI. And nobody really took that step. I was one of the few that did that because I look at it from a business owner perspective. If I was the restaurant owner, I want to know where my money's going.
Exactly.
That's the most important factor, I think.
Yeah, because I can confirm, many restaurant owners, and not only restaurant, local business owners, they are paying for ad spend for some regular spend. That's it. They don't think that it should be convertible to the money. It should be like positive for us. They're considering it like a regular cost, like your lease, for example. You have to pay it to stay afloat, but how it works, who knows?
Yeah.
It's like pay and pray business model,
Yeah.
mostly like this. And that's very, very smart approach to start measuring results and thinking about what's worked, what not. It's the best way how to figure out actually your best channel. No one does it right now properly. I just want to confirm. So,
Yeah.
Okay, you went from this employer and you decided to play your own game. You started your agency. How did you manage your first client acquisition? It's the hardest thing to get things, from the ground.
It is. And so I was still working at my 9 to 5. And then I knew a lot of people in the industry. When you're in the restaurant business, you tend to know everybody. I knew a lot of owners that I could approach and say, hey, I'm doing this new thing, this new marketing technique. It wasn't new. I was doing SEO. It's as old as it gets, but I was doing SEO in a way that was different. So I went to these people I knew, and based on their experiences, they would help me with word of mouth. And I knew enough people that I was able to get enough clients through connections and through friendships that I was able to, when my side gig at the time made enough money as my salary, I quit my job then, and then I continued to build on those connections. But with restaurants, it's all about who you know. That is absolutely a who you know business, and if they don't know you, you're not getting that meeting, no matter who you are or how many times you tried. So it's a very fickle industry, but not a lot of people do marketing for restaurants specifically. So I think there's also a gap in the market.
This is big cap in the market. And I think I have my take and guess why it happens like this. Because, people are oversold. And, many salespersons trying to knock your door at your restaurant and offer you something again and again and again and again. And what I see from our restaurant clients, they're really experiencing growing costs for everything, for food, right? Mm-hmm. For employees. Average wage is going up for the last couple of years, right? Then suppliers, then lease, then electricity. Everything is going up except your prices.
Yeah, and
because people
West Hollywood minimum wage is $20 now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Biggest in the country.
That's crazy. Yeah. And somehow you need to earn money. Somehow you need to be profitable. Somehow you need to take something at home at the end of the month. And this is going to be harder and harder. And they're not thinking right now to get more tools and pay for more than they pay already. They're thinking about how to reduce the cost. It's like the main motto that I see right now from our clients, and I cannot confirm. But anyway, you told very right about introduction. I think it's very cool. But when you have just the first case, it's going to be easier to get the second one, the third one, because marketing, from my perspective as a marketer, it's all the time everything about the case studies and examples of your work. If you can put something on the table and say, hey, this is what I did. This is the numbers, before and after, before and after, before and after. Oh. And if you can explain in simple words what was the difference in between of before and after, you get paid.
Right.
Right?
Right.
If you cannot confirm it's like some kind of magic, no one gonna gamble this money with you.
Absolutely
at the
true.
time.
Yeah.
All right, that's very fine. Could you please tell me a little bit about your very beginning story? Like you start getting the new clients. So how would long it take for you to switch from 9 to 5 to completely on your own agency?
So it was probably about 6 months that it took before, because I was still refining my process. It was pretty quick. And I was still refining what I offered and how I did it. And I had to figure out how I could do it all myself, because I couldn't afford a staff. Yes. So I had to do I had to be the sales guy. I had to optimize all these websites. I had to do everything. My wife does the billing. We do the whole company. So I had to figure out how to scale slowly enough to where I'm not overwhelmed and I'm not ignoring my clients. And that didn't take that long in the grand scheme of things. The biggest catalyst was once I got enough clients where I had, I don't know, a couple dozen clients. I wrote a book on restaurant and bar marketing that's on Amazon. I have 4 books on Amazon right now, all called Restaurant and Bar Marketing, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're very...
Guys, please pay attention and check it out when you have a time.
They're a very boring name because I do SEO. It's a search term. It's the #1 search term, and somehow nobody wrote a book called that. I copyrighted the name, I copyrighted the search term as far as books go. I own all that stuff. Here's why I wrote a book. So I first started doing all the accepted marketing techniques that every agency does. I went to social, I made video clips, I made photos, I bought ads on Facebook, Instagram. I did everything exactly like you do. I created a YouTube channel, put all my videos on YouTube. Google AdWords, I did all that stuff. I did exactly how everybody tells you to start an agency, and nothing worked. And then I thought, okay, if it doesn't work, my content sucks. I'd redo my content. That doesn't work. I'm like, man, it's gotta be my content, because my content's boring. I'd redo it over and over and over and over. I never got one to take up. I think in my entire career, I've probably gotten 2 clients from any other source except the book. So I'm in a business conference, and this is a while ago. And it's like a growth business hack thing.
All right.
And so it was great, but I was talking to a random person who was a businessman, but he wasn't one of the speakers, in the hallway. And we were just talking business, and he said, you know what you need to do? You need to have Amazon published author in your email signature. And I was like, well, I mean, okay, that sounds great, but that's a long way to go just to have it in your email signature.
Yeah.
And so it stuck with me. And he's like, that's what I did, and that's how I blew up. And I was like, okay, I don't see that happening, but all right. And then I said, well, hell, I've tried everything else. And then so I said, okay, I'm gonna write a book. And so this stuff's rolling around in my head for the last decade. So I'm like, I know how I'm gonna structure it. It took me about a week to put this outline together. Wrote the book in 2 days. And then sent it to a publisher. They edited it, they made it look pretty, and they fixed it up. Published it on Amazon, and the numbers just went through the roof. It just sold immediately. And to the fact where I was getting inbound calls. So I'm just working, calls coming to me, and once they've already read my book, The sale is easy. That's a
There's nothing
no-brainer.
to sales anymore.
They would call up and just say, let's
the
just
sales
do it.
pitch inside the book already.
It's already done. They would say, let's do it. I said, well, don't you want to hear? No, I don't care. Let's do it. So I'm like, okay. It was the easiest process because my books have a pretty specific formula. Is my whole thing is a no bullshit approach, right? So I don't sell at all. I inform them. I give them the keys to the castle. Here's everything I know. Here's everything I do. Here's how I do it. Here's how I set it up. Here's how you do your social media. I even tell them how to do SEO. The average person is not interested in SEO. They don't want to know. They don't care.
Absolutely.
They'd much rather pay me to do it for them. Great, that's why I have a job. I think the books are written with such an honest perspective that people knew that I wasn't going to steal their money. They knew that I was going to get them results. They were going to be happy. The average span of an SEO client is something like 90 days. Everybody else probably knows more than I do, but it's short. And most of my clients are with me for years and years on end. And I think that's why, is because not only because of the honesty approach, but every one of my clients has my cell number. They call me anytime, I'll pick up the phone. I return text immediately. I'm the most reachable guy that in their entire, the entire vendor list of people they have to do business with. They've told me that 100 times. I've heard it. Like, we're sticking with you because you answer your phone. Results are great, yes, but how easy am I to do business with? That's a major factor that I think right now agencies are so stuck on scale. They'll put systems in place that are intrusive to the customer.
Yes.
And you know what happened with Avalon, this apartment building? What happened recently was they unlisted their phone number from Google, right? So they're unreachable.
Whoa.
So we used to have their phone number. If we need to call the office, we call the office. We talk to a human. No problem. It was easy. 2-minute question, solved. So someone higher up decided, let's unpublish that number because we're spending too much money on labor. So they got rid of the number. They got rid of all the mentions of their number across the internet. They basically scrubbed the internet of their contact information. Now, if you want something done, you can submit a ticket on an app that it's going to take 3 to 5 days.
All right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe a week. Maybe 2 weeks. You can't, if you walk down to the office, you knock on the door, you can see them behind the frosted glass window walking back and forth, and they don't answer the door. So that is everybody who lives here, everybody we talk about, most of the things about this building are great. That's the one thing everybody's like, I cannot stand the office. I cannot stand the way that they put a brick wall in between the customer and them, which is insane. They're not that busy. I know them.
Yeah,
They're not busy to answer a 30-second question, but they think they are. So now it just builds frustration on me. So the analogy would be a marketing client's customer, if they can't get a hold of you, and you have either an AI chatbot, which I despise, or if they have something like you submit a ticket 3 to 5 days later. If I talk to a human 30 seconds of your time, it would have been done. But that's going away, unfortunately. That's a thing of the past. But that's what I still do, and I think that's still part of the...
And I think it becomes more unique in our nowadays times, because everyone trying to build like army of AI agents in front of the customers, thinking they're going to solve all the problems for you. Mm-hmm. It's kind of trend, I agree, and we have the same thing actually in my team, because we are implemented our chatbot for the support, but at the same time we still keeping 24/7 human line behind that, because I can confirm that 60% questions are handled well. I mean, 4.5 plus rating by AI. If the question is very fast and very simple to handle by AI, but we have still a lot of people who are putting the first message into the chatbot. I want to talk to human. We don't know even the question, but I want to talk to human. Yeah, and a lot of people do, and I do so. Honestly, it's my favorite quote when I start chatting with some chatbot.
Yep.
I want to talk to human because I'm paying money. I want to first of all feel what I'm paying for.
Yeah.
Right. I want to feel care about me.
I don't get a hold of tech support unless I thoroughly research it myself first. And if it's such a unique question that there's no way AI can answer it, I'm wasting my time. And one of my examples with restaurant chatbots, right? It's becoming a big thing, as you know. And now everybody is turning off their phones. It's all restaurant chatbots. So a friend of mine said, hey, you got to test out this bot for me. Tell me what you think. He employed it in his own agency. He's running with it. I'm like, man, it's not for me. And I said, okay. He goes, test it out. I guarantee it'll give you your answer. Cool. Gave him the number, called it. I said, hey, I was there last night. I think I left my wallet there. Could you check for me? And it's like dead silence. Voicemail. I was like, okay, there you go. That's the reason why I would call. I'm not going to call a restaurant to ask what their hours are. I'm not going to call somebody to ask what is easily attainable online.
Yeah.
But in situations like that, you have to talk to a human. Anyway, that's just my perspective.
It's a good take, actually, and I appreciate that you shared it. And I have pretty much the same approach, but I have just one bottleneck in this case. So, what's about the growth? It's even impossible in that way. If you cater like tailored services to your clients with personal, hands-on approach, it's great. I can imagine how much it costs, right? Because it's like fully in, done for you, with 24 to 12 to 7, okay, approach on the call. But when it comes to the scaling, some of people want to scale, some of them not. But what about them who want to scale? How to do so in that case?
My own business, I have not really scaled, to be honest. So I have enough clients that I do very well. I handle them all personally. I'm like a concierge service, right? I don't have thousands of clients, and I would have to scale for that, and I would have to get a team. I've tried different methods, and I've almost hired people a bunch of times, but at the last minute, I'm like, man, they don't have the mentality I do. I'm a control freak. I want to make sure it's done perfectly. I don't want to farm out my SEO to somewhere overseas. They're not going to do it right. They're not going to do it how I want it done. My business model is almost flawed to the fact that it's not scalable, which is, it's a problem as far, if I wanted to scale, yeah, I'd have to think of a whole new approach because it isn't right now. I keep putting myself in the shoes of the client. Would I want, instead of like one day they text me and I don't respond, there's an autoresponder that says, we'll submit a ticket, here's a link to submit a ticket, and then maybe figure it out, and then maybe have it error out on you, and maybe the QR doesn't, maybe it's a million different factors when they're like, oh man, I used to be able just to text this guy, he would say yes or no and done, we move on with our day. I don't want that, because I wouldn't want that if I was on the other side, like I said. So I think I'm scared to scale because I don't want the quality to suffer. And it's almost a rule of business. The more you scale, the more the quality suffers. And I don't know a situation where that's not true, but a lot of people don't care. Let me be honest. There's people that are way better at business than I am that scale, and they don't care because it's worth it. The additional money is worth the quality dropping because you're way more profit makes up for the quality. And they're right. That's just not how I think. And I don't think I ever have. I don't think I ever will. But it's honestly, the people who want to scale are way smarter at business than I am. I just have my priorities.
But anyway, no shame, no blame here, because again, we're talking about two different business models. You are definitely the boutique style agency. Mm-hmm. You can pay me a lot and you can wear Armani the first line, right? Mm-hmm. It's your choice. If you wanna wear Zara, it's up to you. No blame, no shame. Again, it's just different ways of doing the business, and you're absolutely right. But do you believe that really exists some product in the market that could be sold just in a bulk, provide the guarantee services, and do not attach you for 100% to your customers on the phone, on other things? Just have you ever think about just a little bit productizing your services, adding some additional bullets, points that could be sold, probably for not the big check, like 200-300 a month, just to keep the door open all the time. Doesn't matter, do they want you right now or not? Do they need some CEO or not? Or do they probably gonna push the pause button for the summer period because it's like a low time for them and coming back in autumn? Did you think about this approach or not?
This is going to sound contradictory to what I just said, but a lot of my clients, they see the results up front. They see what I'm doing. I send them a report that my reports used to be 30 different metrics, a demographics, every single Google metric, and it was this long, and they were just like, man, I don't even know what this is. Can you just speak English? I cut that down to one page. It's very, very simple. Any restaurant owner with zero experience with SEO can look at that and say, here's where we were, here's where we are. Great, keep doing what you're doing. And they don't ever call me. I never hear from them, and they pay me every month. So yeah, that kind of client, if I gain their trust first, and if I start to show them results first, they don't need to be in contact that much. So what I just said about me not scaling is actually kind of a flaw in my system. And in your case, you're right. I could scale if I had a lot of that type of client. I don't have many high maintenance clients at all, which is, thank God.
So we stopped on a very interesting point talking about two different types of agencies. I'm talking about the boutique one and the productized agency that sell their products and services in the bulk. And Erik, thank you so much for your take about two different type of clients. It's also very important. Some clients, they require a lot of time, a lot of your energy, and they want to feel like you are working for them, right? But some of them just waiting for results. If you're producing results, no matter how you does it, right? Just take my money,
Yeah.
get back to work, right?
Yeah.
And you're right. But okay, I got your take. Thank you very much. So you started your agency. You started getting more clients through recommendations. So what was your limit, and how many clients do you have right now under your management?
I have a little less than about 100 right now that I can manage them between, like I said, myself and my wife. A lot of AI software to make that happen too. And my SEO software is AI based. I just changed it out about 6-8 months ago. And it was a giant leap forward. It was great. The reason why I think that I'm pretty safe in this business as an agency owner, because AI, yes, is going to take a lot of jobs. But I think in my case, I'm the guy who knows what input to give the AI engines, and I know what questions to ask. They don't, and honestly, they don't want to know, and that's not what restaurant owners are going to end up using AI for, which is a great thing. The plan to scale is not really there. I do honestly need a better plan than I have now. I reached out to colleagues who are in similar businesses. A business partner of mine, she does a lot of the stuff that I don't for bars and restaurants. So I partnered with these other agencies. That there's one of them that I just got with who she does social media. She does social media ads, social media buys. That's all she does is social media. I don't touch social media at all. So we both have business that we can give each other. And I'm getting more and more of those, complementary type of agencies with me to where we can, but a lot of agencies, they do everything. They do probably a half-assed job at every single thing. And they don't do one thing great, but they offer everything. Honestly, my biggest problem that I've ever had is scaling, and it's scaling comfortably and not losing the quality, like I said. But I've tried everything there is under the sun to scale without spending a ton of money. I'm also really gun shy on that. I've spent money and lost it in the past almost every time trying to scale. So then I kind of sat back and said, well, wait a minute, I'm doing pretty good right now. What's wrong with this? Okay, nothing. But that's kind of a bad attitude to have as a business owner. It should never be, I'm okay where I am. It should always be what's next and what's next. And I've lost sight of that a little bit, but I know that it's going to cost me a ton of money in order to get to bump it up to the next level. I'm just not ready for that yet because I've just lost so much in the past. But the scaling approach that I'm looking at is kind of traditional based. It's kind of social media based. It's kind of YouTube based. I've even gone back to lead gen companies, which we all know that they're pretty terrible, and I've gotten the promise of how many.
It's going costly and costly from day to day.
Yeah, and so I've entertained. I'm talking to some lead gen companies now that are paid by results. So I only get paid by as many phone calls as they get me, which is better. But of course, the per lead is a lot more expensive.
Thank you for sharing it transparently. I think it's very important because what you highlighted right now, it's very important to talk about because acquisition is losing the sense for the last 10 years, for the last decade. What can we see? The CPM, which is cost per meal, went up 8 times by the last 10 years, 836%. I've been on the conference last week in San Diego. We were exhibiting, and Perry Belcher, one of the most known digital marketers all over the world, he actually invented this term, like digital marketer, because he's in the game more than 30 years, and he started doing digital marketing when the first option to pay money to appear in the internet actually happened.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
He was one of the first guys. What he said from the stage, like he told the story about CPM growth for the last decade. The email open rates going down by the last decade, the same thing. And inboxes, email providers, they're doing everything to get rid of marketing emails.
Yeah.
Adding additional folders, segmenting your email. You didn't ask for it, but they do, right? Marking more and more and more emails like a spam, even if they are not a spam, but putting them in fold because they're fighting for the clarity and clearance in your inbox. But at the same time, it's really, really killing the whole email industry at all. Is going to be harder. And the same thing with SMS, what we're gonna see last 5 years, A2P 10 DLC, legal action against of brands who are reaching out to their customers is going to be hard. Even though if you open your SMS, you can see, 3 lines of text and then reply me, stop, reply me. It looks very generic. I don't
Yeah.
want to read it at all.
It looks spammy.
It looks spammy.
But by law, it has to look spammy, right?
They try to make it looks less spammy, but they did
Right. The
other
opposite.
thing exactly.
Yep. I recently tried an email campaign, like a cold outreach.
All right.
And I did manually. I would type an email out, scan of the online presence of a restaurant, attach the PDF, send it out, and then do the next one by hand. And I actually got a client from it, and I thought, man, this is really working. I've never done a cold email outreach program ever in my life, so I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know how flawed it was or how hard it is. And so I thought, well, okay, I got a guy on Fiverr, had an API he connected to, so he would scrape emails, attach through an API my scan tool, so it would create a scan of their business, put it in an email. I used GMass for that would send out that thing all put together. And it was like the results were like real good for 1 or 2 days, and then I got flagged as spam so many times, even though the emails were unique, the subject line was unique, the attachment was unique. Then I learned, okay, they just started plummeting. I'm like, okay, what am I, now I'm just like, I'm seeing my numbers of like my open rate is going down to like single digits. I'm like, what in the hell happened? So again, I didn't know a thing about it. I have no idea how it works. Then I had to realize you had to use multiple domains. You have to warm up the domains first. I didn't know about that. And so here I am hiring all these people to do this stuff, and in their defense, so they did. And so again, I spent a lot of money out there and put this whole thing together, only to learn a valuable lesson, is that, and then so at the end I got on Fiverr and got somebody else who was, this girl was very, very nice and very good. She was the one that made sure my emails end up in the inbox, whatever they call that person. And she even said, you know what, and I asked her if she worked on a results basis, and she said, I don't, because I can do all the work that I can, and there's still a really good chance it's going to end up in spam. Because she said, especially this year in 25, it went, the probability of it ending up in the inbox is so dismal now that even she was like, she sounded discouraged. She just sounded like her job is just like going away.
Going away, the right term you said right now. You know, the fun fact that what you did just not a long time ago, I did it 10 years ago. We got integrated with SEMrush, website analyzing tool, connected to our email provider. We did it 10 years ago, trying to send these automated website reports to...
It probably worked better back then.
It worked better, but again, not for a long time. Mm-hmm. It worked for a while, for like 3-6 months, then we got blocked, then we changed the domain name, then we changed it for second time, the third time, then we figured out we need to buy 10 and put them in the place. And we somehow start becoming, to be an email provider, but not the company. I decided to stop this way because the answer and the conversion rate was very low because they didn't ask you to get this report.
Right.
And it looks like scary. You are visiting me first time, you touching me first time, and you're blaming me that I have a crappy website.
Right. Got all these red X's all over it.
Let's start from something positive, maybe, not?
And now so I pay attention to the spam email that I get that hit my inbox. And I look at them and think, okay, what these have in common that actually make it to my inbox. They're spam, but they have very similar characteristics. As you know, again, I'm new to this, so everybody probably knows this, but if you have an email signature, if you have links back, if you have images in...
no way to be inbox.
You're screwed. So all the ones that end in my inbox are like a very vague one sentence with not even the name of the company. It's like, thank you, Steve. And like, I mean, now I know why they do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But me as a customer, if I didn't know that, I'd be like, who in the hell is this guy? And why do they think I'm going to respond to that vague sentence with no contact information, no links, no nothing? So it looks terrible. So I think that in an effort to reduce spam, it's gotten to be where they have to play such a narrow game that they can't really adequately market to anybody anymore.
Good take. Thank you so much for this. When it comes to token AI, automatization, all the services are getting better, as well as email inboxes. They're smart. They're so smart right now. They can recognize you very fast. Even though you are sending 100 emails a day, if they're pretty much similar, you also got to be blocked. Mm-hmm. You can never resist. You can use it only with one purpose right now, sending real emails to the real human beings.
Yeah.
How it was designed.
Or warm emails. Right? That works.
Yeah, that also works. we talked about problems, what's going to be next in the 5 years, because what I see right now in the market that everyone is a little bit scared about the next steps, because it's really big changing that we're experiencing right now in the marketing space especially. Previously, it was like just growing beautiful time for us to get more clients, design websites for them, running meta campaigns, acquisition going down. All our work seems to be going to be replaced by AI agents very, very soon. Not the one, not the two, but many people who are scared about to get out of the game at all. What's your take on AI? It's going to help us to provide better services and somehow just remove some labor from us, freeing up our time, or it's going to replace us. What do you think?
I think that the AI in the near future is humans are going to train their brain to recognize AI so fast that it's going to look spammy. And I think AI today is genius as far as anything customer facing. So if I'm talking to an AI bot, or if I'm talking to an AI email, or if they have interaction with me, I think humans are good enough to where we're going to detect that that's AI and we're going to discount it immediately. Like, I don't want to talk, this is not a genuine person, I don't care. I think that's going to happen quick. And it's already, in the restaurant business, that's already happened. And everybody talks about, when I try and tell prospective clients about that I use an AI program for my SEO, and they're like, oh, AI, like, I want nothing to do with that. I'm like, well, hang on, why? And then I said, well, then they give the chatbot example, or they give the email example, or interaction with them. And I said, well, don't think about that. Think about behind the scenes. In search engine optimization, what happened a decade ago is you had to manually go in there and modify every single tag, every single piece of content. There's a new blog, now you have to optimize that. It's very time consuming. What took thousands of dollars a month then takes a couple $100 a month now. And so they don't ever see that. That's not customer facing. And then they're like, okay, that makes sense, I get it. I'm really gun shy of anything customer facing, because I think that, at least in my business, it's just seen as like, they see it as cheating and they see it as spammy, and I'm kind of with them on that. But I think overall efficiency is going to get way better as we go.
That's for sure. Probably it's a question of time, because it depends on the quality. You say now it looks spammy and looks like a scam, but they are progressing much more faster than human beings. I'm talking about AI models. Yeah. And who knows what's going to be GPT-6 model, how it's going to chat with you. And actually we are doing a great job in this regard. So we are building a retention program, as you know, yeah. And we're helping local businesses, especially restaurants and coffee shops, for whole food and beverage vertical, to actually handle the customer communication problem, because we see it's a big problem for them, because they don't know what to send, when to send, and for whom to send. And they're scary about that because they are afraid to burn out their existing customer base. This is the big risk.
Do you think that your model, which by the way, I love, and you know that, because I love the fact that it's measurable, and there's a very quick A/B test you can do, which you showed me, which is genius. At what point do the customers in a loyalty program figure out that that's AI hitting them up, and they're like, oh, this isn't a person, or this isn't a genuine offer, or this isn't genuine? Do you think there's going to be a time where that happens and you have to adjust again? I know it's always constantly learning, but is there going to be some wall you hit where the learning isn't enough and you have to tweak something?
Right now, I can say it's already happening. We see conversion rates that's going up and up and up all the time, because the more data, the more learning, the more better ways, the more better offers we can send you at the right time with the right message, okay? And when it comes to the scammy and other things, so how do you think McDonald's chat with you, or Starbucks, or Dunkin' through the apps?
Through their apps?
Yeah.
I think they do great. You mean sales-wise?
Yeah, for their applications. You are receiving push notifications all the time when you have
Those are places that somebody goes frequently. That's like, you may go to Starbucks every single day.
Yeah.
But if you're going to one of my clients who's a fine dining restaurant, you're not going there every day.
For sure.
Special occasion. Their volume, all those guys are straight volume. So you could do a lot of good with that much volume. And I think it's a lot easier.
It's a lot easier, but at the same time, they are doing it right now very hyper-personalized. If you're going to check, they are tracking all your behavior. What are you going to buy? How often do you visit? How much do you spend regularly? And they are kind of predicting what you're going to do next, your next move, which is smartly brilliant. And what if, for example, you can place the same service for smaller brands, and be very simple, like you can implement the Starbucks grade level communication tool. It's not about loyalty. Again, it's not the calculator. It's not the machine to calculating points for bucks spent, but building relationships on autopilot, on the go, knowing what people want, when they expect, and what they're going to do next. Just to a little bit remind them, because I'm honestly truly believer in relationship through trust. We are like-minded here.
Yep.
No questions. And I do believe that to build a relationship with your customer, to win the heart and mind, you need to do at least 8 to 12 interactions.
Yep.
Right now. The question is how you're going to do so, how fast you're going to do so, manually or automatically, or how it would be. But what I see right now, many of businesses trying to do so, but very generically, like sending $5 off coupons, sending promotions, and they're thinking it's kind of like communication.
And they're poorly timed also.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's not the it's like we have a special term how to explain it. It's promotion, right? You're selling something all the time, pushing customers forward because it's a clear offer.
Yeah.
What you're going to do next, right? And I see right now on the market the big resistance from the people on it because we are actually tired to be oversold all the time.
Yeah.
Buy, push, visit. And if you see how now Starbucks and McDonald's do it, they do it much more clear, smarter, and clever. They are telling that we have a new drop, we have a new this, we have a new that. We miss you for 2 weeks. You never visit us for the last 2 weeks. When are you going to do visit next? So would you mind to try your favorite coffee with this bagel? Because based on our research, it's the best fit, based on our customer base. And doesn't matter. We all know that it's sent by robot.
Yeah.
It's not like 1 million of people sitting and chatting with the customers one-on-one. But when it comes to feel it like a personal treatment, like a personal communication, I'm guilty. I react.
Do you react because you're an agency and because you want to see how it goes and you're fascinated with the process like I am? Or if you were a normal person?
I react as a customer, as a normal person.
But you know more than the next guy about this stuff.
Because of course. And but it's a good recommendation at the right time.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my coffee soon.
Yeah.
I'm getting an offer. Why wouldn't I go for it?
I agree. I think it's a great idea.
It's a question of time. It's a question of message. It's a question of angle and how you can do so. Because $5 off coupon, it's not the answer right now, right?
Right.
It should be like hyper personalized. Feel like it's from human being. If you can provide this certain level, my take for the next time is going to help us. And again, I just want to confirm your point of view in terms of it will not replace marketers because. Anyway, we have nowadays, if you open guys product hunt and gonna check how many AI tools are launching every day on the marketplace, it's like 10 plus all day long. You can see the new ones. Most of them are crappy. Just try to roll the dice and see how many people they're gonna get sign up. Yeah. But anyway, one of 50, one of probably 100 are great.
Yeah,
that's for sure. But again, it doesn't matter for the businesses that we are catered to. They are probably not using ChatGPT at all.
Probably not.
Even today.
Or for very basic things.
What the weather for tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very, very simple, broad questions. I don't think they use it correctly.
Yeah.
I put this in my book, my fourth book, and I think this is one of the problems a lot of people have with AI in general is that if you think about how AI is trying to simulate a human, that their number one priority in anything customer facing is to be as deceptive as possible, right? Nobody thinks about it on those terms. That's the point. It's trying to deceive you. And that's one thing that I have a problem with. I don't want to be deceptive. And that a lot of the public feels the same way. At a certain point, either the public's going to not care or it's going to get so good that it's not going to seem deceptive in any way. One of those two, I think, has to happen. So I think that's the resistance to it, is they know that's the point.
What's your bet?
Deceptive.
What's your bet? What's going to be?
I think AI's got to get so good that people aren't going to care.
Same.
So both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the first AI going to be the better. I also bet on it. I think it's very, very smart. So what I forgot to ask you about?
I think that covers it. That was very thorough.
Yeah, it was a good conversation anyway. And thank you so much, Erik, for your time. It was a pleasure to chat.
Thank you.
And waiting for your next book.
All right, appreciate it.